Can I ask more questions or what?
Yeah.
Okay. So many questions.
Always, always.
Okay. All right. So Anthony mentioned he could communicate interdimensionally through aspects of personality that travel through space, dimensions that most can only visit in their minds. What I want to know is, what does he mean by aspects of personality and how is that different from the mind?
Well, we might have to dig into this a little bit because what they're showing me is a model that I'm familiar with. So they're showing me what Rion used to talk about, how we have like the different dimensions of self that we can activate, you know, or access 4 through 12 or 15, whatever it is. And that they all sort of have, each has like their own unique characteristics and skills.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not saying that they're using the same model that Rion had, but it's similar to that. It's almost like he's assigned parts of himself with certain tasks or certain interests. Like, oh, this, we'll just use numbers. Like 4 is interested in music. So 4 travels to places where music is the predominant form of communication and harmonizing.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 is into philosophy. So 5 travels to places where everything is discussed in philosophical terms. And 6 is into languages. And so
It's like astral travel.
yeah, kind of, but for it feels like for him, I hate to speak for him, that seems like a very terrible thing to do in this situation, but because they have the ability to access all this information all at once, it can be like almost crippling with the level of access that they have. So they've like he's created these ways that he kind of manages the information.
Okay.
And it's like almost like spigots, like he can kind of like turn it on and turn it off so he's not bombarded.
So
And those
yeah,
aspects can hold that information until like he's ready to maybe like allow it to more freely flow and to dedicate the time to look at it.
right. Um, it's like he's like astral traveling almost versus like he says dimensions that most can only visit in their minds. In my mind, like
Mhm.
everything's happening in your mind. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's why I was asking this question. So I was like, I didn't really get what he was trying to say. Um, is there a difference, like really from the mind to these aspects of personality?
No, I was asking them to give me a visual that is more commonly known that might help to explain it. The only thing they keep showing me is like an octopus and the legs and the, primary body of the octopus. Like that's where, so the body of the octopus is where the processing happens, but the tentacles are out gathering information and bringing it back to the body.
Well, maybe what he's saying too is like maybe he's just mentioning like kind of saying like, oh, they're just like, I don't know. Okay, this kind of makes sense, but it doesn't really matter. But I'm wondering if this relates to the cards at all.
How so?
Well, I was wondering if the mind, when he said the mind, he meant like, or the personality. I don't know. I guess we always talk about how like your card is like your personality basically in this lifetime, and it's also your lessons and your kind of like energetic connections with other people, and it kind of like it's like creating the personality of the person.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
So I guess it doesn't really make sense to tie it to this question, so maybe not.
Well,
I
keep going
don't
with
know.
your thought though.
Well, I don't know. Like, I guess you would have these, you have had multiple lifetimes with these cards as your personality. And as you build up on these experiences, you have the reach to those other lifetimes because they're all happening at once. Kind of what he's saying, you're going to maybe those other dimensions, which would be other lifetimes possibly, not just on Earth, but like in other dimensions. lifetimes, like you said, where music is the form of communication. So you're like this personality version of yourself with the card that you have now is like connected to all the other cards you've ever been and all of the other personalities you've ever been. Versus
Mm-hmm.
the mind, I thought the way he said it was like the mind might be localized to this lifetime right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the feeling that I got as well.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Um,
Yeah, they're just showing me the octopus again, like the octopus reaching through like the different lifetimes, like with the leg and then coming
yeah,
back. Like,
and then coming back. But
mm-hmm.
most people are not doing that. I mean, obviously. Or are they doing it at nighttime or whenever?
They're just like, no, most people are not. They're not conscious. If they're doing it, they're not conscious that they're doing it. And if the information is presented to them, they just write it off as a crazy dream. If
Right.
they even remember the dream, there's like so many ifs.
Yeah, so many ifs. Okay. The tuning forks thing I thought was really interesting. And I love
Mm-hmm.
how they were asking, one of them was asking at the end, they want more of these people that are nonverbal want more ability to heal themselves, like being out in nature, sound baths, shiatsu, stuff like that. So, but the one person said this kid like really reacted to someone, he asked for tuning forks or they brought him tuning forks. I can't remember, but
He
he's
asked for
like,
tuning
he
forks.
asked for them and he said, that is my soul tone and that one's my body tone.
Mm-hmm.
They did not go into it at all, but I was like, what the hell? So, like, can they explain like what benefit that would be? And does everyone have like that kind of soul tone and body tone with tuning forks? Because to me, it would almost be like they couldn't even make enough tuning forks, but the tuning forks are usually made in like the solfeggio frequencies. So he was able to figure out his soul and body and my imagination, I thought they said that maybe it was like the two of them together helps him anchor his body into his like anchor his body here
Mm-hmm.
or anchor his soul into his body.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Right.
I got from it, right?
Yeah, it brought him
So
into
I guess my
harmony.
question is like, does everybody have tuning forks that align with their soul and their body?
Yes, but not in the, they're like, yes, but we don't think in the way that you're asking the question. Each person's body is not going to have its own individual tuning fork or frequency. Your 3D bodies living in a 3D dimension, your frequencies are all similar. The
Mm,
body frequencies are all similar. The densities similar, like structure similar, like they don't vary that much if at all. The the souls may vary slightly on frequency, but for the most part, again, the souls are in a similar frequency. But they're like all of this can be identified within the range of tuning forks. It doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't need to go beyond that.
oh, that's so interesting. Okay. Okay. This is going to be another kind of card question, but one autistic person mentioned that their energy signature is not energy signature is not compatible with everyone. And I just assume like, is that why we just don't get along with other people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a frequency match.
Right. It's literally a frequency match. And then I'm like, does that relate to the compatibility of the cards where we have like you when we say, oh, this person just gets on my nerves and we go look up their cards and we look up how the two cards go together, like there's planetary like energies between the two cards and it's like, oh, well, you've got Pluto and Saturn, so of course you get on each other's nerves. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no other way for that to be. So is that the same like when they I mean, it's not the same, but is it like we all have these energy frequencies. We don't align with everyone. And the cards basically show this to be true.
Yes, and they're backing up now to the question that you asked previously because I want to add a caveat to it. When they are talking about the body, they're talking about the physical structure, the physical nature of the body. They're not
The,
talking about the emotions that are held within the body.
oh, the autistic person is saying that? Or
No,
wait, who's saying that?
that's what they're saying when they said that like all of our bodies would pretty much be attuned. Like,
Oh, the just the base level like physical matter.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So they like that you asked this follow-up question because it gave them the opportunity to add a clarification. The energies, the emotions that run through us, that's a whole nother story. And that's where the cards come into play because it's the energies that come forward through those external influences that creates a new harmony. She's gonna start doing her thing again.
She's back to it. That's hilarious. Yeah, I can see what like they're saying like, and then if you would do all of your work, the energies that the cards, like if you had Saturn Pluto with someone, it wouldn't be as irritating because you've done your work and
Exactly.
you've changed the like emotions in your body, and therefore and or you've like gotten rid of all your triggers, not all your triggers, but you know, you would die if you did that. You didn't need to be here anymore. But like if you don't have those emotional like triggers anymore, that is going to be less irritating. So you're going to have like leveled out your energy body. And so like I think that when what these autistic people are saying too is like they protect themselves from people that are not on the love frequency. So you could hear it in the voices of the teachers and the parents that they are like meant to be the parents and the teachers of these kids because they are open to all of this. They have love in their hearts. They're the only concerned with making sure that these kids are getting what they need, and they're fighting to get spelling to be allowed to be used, which is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And you just can hear them. Like they're like these little earth angels that are here to guide and help these kids. Like you could
You can
tell.
hear the kindness in their voice. What they were showing me when you were saying all of that is imagine untuned pianos like being played, right? So like we're playing C, we're hitting whatever, C sharp on your piano and my piano, but because we're emotionally triggered, those keys are out of tune, so they don't even sound the same.
Ah,
Versus when we're not emotionally triggered, the keys are in tune and they're in harmony.
right.
So like when we're triggered, we're just untuned. Ooh, that's interesting. I never thought
So,
that way.
well, that's really interesting too, because this person's saying like their energy signature, and to me, when they say signature, this means like the energy blueprint you came in with.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mm-hmm.
that what this person was saying? It's like not everybody's energy blueprint is compatible with everyone else's, or is it just because they haven't done their work or whatever?
It's a good question. I'm trying, like, I think I'm trying to get the definition of energy blueprint here as they used it. The way it, for whatever reason, they keep showing me like somebody who came in like well-intentioned to like, let's just say like somebody who came in to be a nurse and a caregiver, like their energy blueprint is that versus like someone who came in to be a thief, like to have that experience.
Mm-hmm.
So those blueprints might not be in, like they might not work well together because of the intention that like the intention of the soul to have the experience. So it really is driven by the experience that the soul wanted to have.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because they don't like what they don't like is the idea that they don't want to add any fuel to the idea that some people came in bad. Like
Right.
no one
That's
came
not
in bad.
right.
You could come in with the blueprint to be a thief and still not be a bad person. Maybe you're, I don't know, stealing
No,
acorns out of the
yeah, it's,
forest and creating acorn art. You know what I
well,
mean?
it's
Like,
like Robin Hood, right? Like stealing to help someone else or whatever. Yeah.
yeah. So like there are variations on everything, but they're just like they're at its base level, they're just are kind of like soul assignments that don't work well together.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, what is the hill?
I don't know, but I want to go there. I
I
really want
tried.
to go
Oh
to
my
the
God, I tried. Listen, I was like, oh no, like we shouldn't try it, but then Daniel did. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try. Um, so okay, this is what I was gonna ask you actually. I forgot about this till just now. I tried to go there and I was trying to fall asleep. So I thought that would be the best way. And I just thought like they're like non-speakers can come or no wait, speakers can come, but they're protected. Like they won't let people in if there's bad intentions. So I just was like, I just want to feel the energy and like see, like I kind of just want to acknowledge what they're doing here. Like it's gonna make me cry
Their
because just
contribution. Hmm.
yes. So that's kind of why I was like, I really wanted to go and just be like, oh my God, I see you and thank you for what you're doing. And this, like, I'm just so happy that you're out of the closet, for lack of a
Right.
better word.
Right.
Um, so the experience I had was like, it got really, 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 really quiet. And I've had this happen twice before in my life. One of them, I was doing like a call with Lena, if you remember Lena,
Hmm.
and I forget the other time. No, I used to do it all the time when I was a kid, actually. I don't know how to explain this, but it's like there's, I push myself out to the edge of this, what feels like a bubble, and I'm tiny and thin out here on the edge, and there's just space and quiet. And I had that same feeling when I was trying to go to the hill. Can you tell me what that feeling is? That space?
The quiet that you're experiencing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not quite sure I understand what they're showing or saying, but it's like it's you're going to the edge of of your consciousness that you feel comfortable with. So it's like you're like pushing out to the edges of your field. So the hill is a place where all consciousness mingles. So you're no longer like just in your own, you're fluid, you're intermingling with all of the consciousness. Where you're getting to is like right at the edge before you pop over. So it's like this transition space would have to be quiet because you're so close to actually popping out. And like the thing that just keeps you anchored is that there's just some part of you that is a little bit afraid of like popping over and maybe not being able to pop back, or
Mm-hmm.
like having your human mind blown, and then there's a little bit of worry about, is this going to reorient the entire way I've looked at everything about my life? I'm just not ready to see that.
Okay.
So they're like, you're like right there. And they like that you said the edge, because they're like, yes, you are like right there at the edge.
Right.
And you'll be able to get there. Like, this podcast was part of getting more comfortable with these concepts and these notions and the ability to go play in the field.
Okay. Ooh, crazy. Oh my God. All right.
I had the thought, I was like, oh my God, when I come to your house, should we do like a traditional bubble where like we use
Yeah.
the scripts and we go really slow and see if we can like pop ourselves over out into the field?
Oh my gosh, that would be crazy. So the hill that they're meeting at, like when you can go into the field or the hill, it's like you just set the intention, I want to go find this group of people. And that's how they're all finding each other. Like it sounds like they're all there together. And there's a gatekeeper, like a teacher. They've been describing like there's a teacher, a gatekeeper there. Like, how do they get to the same location?
It's for them, it's just like going to the park to play with their friends.
They just know to meet in this one location
Hmm.
of consciousness, even if there's probably not
Yeah,
even locations in consciousness, but it's like the way I can wrap my mind around it.
exactly. It's like, if you were a city kid, if you grew up in the city, everybody knew to go to the town park to play.
Right. And
You
that's what
didn't
they're
call each
doing.
other on the phone. You just like showed up.
Right. Oh my
So
gosh.
like our bodies take us the same way that their minds take them. Like
Right.
I want to go play with my friends. So it's like, boom, you go to the field, you go to the hill.
Okay. This is my last question. Finally. Is there a greater conspiracy around why these kids have been blocked from spelling? and why they're trying to shut down the telepathy talk because people are talking about comments being deleted and things like that. Um, Kind of going to the idea of like, I don't know. Yeah, just that's the question. Is there a greater conspiracy around it, or is it just people being people?
Well, they don't like the word conspiracy, but there are two energies at play. Two two energies at play that are keep like that are both driven to keep the quiet. One of the energies is, and I think one of the moms, someone touched on this in the telepathy tapes, was the fear that someone will access the children in telepathically to what they can't be protected.
Right.
They're just like, they're like, the whole oh my God, what was that program that the government trained people in?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. The remote viewing program or
Yes,
the
yes. So
okay.
like the fear is that, oh my God, like someone who trained in that program who has an ill intent could now like weasel their way in and now start manipulating these kids in some way or infiltrate their consciousness. And it's almost like a fear like that they might like start to control them in some way.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
like it's a fear-based quote unquote conspiracy out of protection.
Right.
Then they're showing that there's this other fear-based control at play, which is a little more nefarious, which is if humans learn to reactivate, if regular people learn to activate this skill set, then we all get to talk in a way that others can't hear. We
Mm-hmm.
get to communicate in a way that can't be monitored.
Mm-hmm.
And now it really does start to create this whole two world effect of there are the people that live in the 3D speaking world, and then there would be this whole other group of people that can exist in that world, or that can exist in their own world where typical language isn't used, can't be monitored, can't be eavesdropped on, can't be, like it's more isolated and more protected. So
Mm-hmm.
that energy is we need to keep Gen Pop from accessing these skills because then they become harder to control. They become
Okay,
harder to manage.
yeah, I
They
mean,
prefer the word manage to control.
right. Yeah, no, I was really curious about that. Okay, I feel like, do you have any questions? Don't you have to go somewhere
I do.
soon? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
at one, I just have to walk down the street, but
Oh, that's right. Okay. Do you have any questions?
I mean, I might, but you covered so many. Those were really good ones. I think we should probably like maybe take a break and redigest and then
Yeah,
maybe
maybe we'll come
circle
back to
back.
this. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I this
The
just
podcast is continuing. It's not over, so.
it's not over, and they're gonna make a documentary movie, and there's doing a season two, and they're gonna talk about the CIA's remote viewing program. And so like it just to reiterate, I feel so validated with what the fuck we're doing.
I feel so seen.
I feel so seen. And like it took a long time to not feel crazy,
Hmm.
and I was already there. But this was just fucking mind blowing. And I was just absolutely dying to be able to talk to you about it because they talked about all of our shit.
Yeah.
They talked about working on the emotions. They talked about training yourself in your intuition. They literally were like, that was part of like what they want for humanity. They talked about breath work. They talked about the cards. They didn't talk about the cards, but they brought the Ace of Spades up, which is the cards. Like it's
It's
all
the
in
card
this.
for the cards.
And I forgot about how much I love studying the concept and like the theories of consciousness and like reading all those books that talk about it and discuss it and explore it. And I'm like, oh, I lost track of that. And I was like, I've already put all their books that they've written. I'm trying to find them on Amazon to try to listen to get some of the books that the kids have written with their teachers and parents.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's
So the
amazing.
bottom line is just everybody, every single body needs to listen to this podcast.
Yeah. And the other bottom line is, and one of them said it in the podcast, we, they're not gifts. They corrected themselves. They said they're not gifts. Everyone has these abilities. We've just forgotten how to use them.
All
And
right.
these kids are here to show us the way.
The little way
All right.
showers. All right.
Okay.
Okay, girl, I'll
Toodles.
talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.